So what if I told you that that first deep breath of fresh morning air isn't quite what you think it is? Today, we're going to explore the surprising message your lungs are trying to send you every single sunrise. I mean, Arthur Conan Doyle really captured it perfectly, didn't he? We all have this kind of romantic, universal idea that the air at dawn is the purest, the freshest, a total clean slate for the day. You know that feeling? You step outside, you take that big, deep inhale, and it just feels like you're filling your lungs with pure health and possibility. It's a ritual that feels so fundamentally good. But the story isn't quite that simple. That crisp, clean feeling, what if it's hiding something? What is that first breath of air actually delivering deep into your lungs? This is where our lovely perception of morning air kind of collides with the cold, hard data. Let's see what science has to say about that breath we're all so eager to take. Now, this graph might look a little complicated, but it tells a really surprising story that completely flips the script. Let's just focus on that line there. It tracks the Air Quality Index, or AQI, which is basically a report card for the air. And here's the thing, the higher the line, the worse the air quality. So notice where it peaks? Yep, right in the early morning, and then again in the evening. And this isn't just a fluke. It's a very clear daily pattern. The best air quality is actually in the middle of the day, usually from about 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That morning peak is often driven by these tiny, harmful particles called PM 2.5. They're so small they can get way down deep in our lungs, and they spike right around 8 a.m., just as rush hour gets going. So the natural question is, why? Why is that? If the world is just waking up, why is the pollution already at its worst? Well, the answer lies in a really fascinating atmospheric phenomenon. It's called a temperature inversion. Basically, overnight, the ground cools down fast, which makes the air right near it colder than the air above it. So this warmer air layer acts just like a lid on a pot, trapping that colder air and everything in it, like car exhaust and other pollutants, right down where we breathe. It's only when the sun gets high enough to warm the ground that this lid finally starts to break apart. So we've seen that the air has a daily rhythm. But what's really incredible is that this rhythm collides with a clock that's ticking inside our own bodies. Let's look at how our lungs can be uniquely vulnerable at the worst possible time. You see, our lungs aren't just passive bags of air. They are incredibly dynamic organs that operate on their own 24-hour cycle. It's a circadian rhythm, and this internal clock dictates when they function best and when they might be a bit more vulnerable. And here is the crucial point. Research shows that for a lot of people, breathing difficulties are naturally worse in the early morning. And this is the exact same time that the temperature inversion is trapping pollution at its peak. It's like a perfect storm, an external threat meeting our internal vulnerability head on. These circadian rhythms are absolutely fundamental. They don't just control our sleep, they regulate our immune system, and they can even influence how severe diseases are. So when this internal clock gets all disrupted, it can have some pretty serious long-term health consequences. Okay, so the morning air might not be as perfect as we thought, but this isn't a story about doom and gloom, not at all. It's a story of empowerment, because there are powerful things we can do to counteract all of this. The solution actually starts from within. Before we even change our environment, we can change how we interact with it. The key is to start breathing differently, to breathe with real intention. Starting your day with just a few minutes of what's called breath work has these incredible science-backed benefits. It can lower your stress and your blood pressure, it can give you a calm but focused energy, and it really anchors you in the present moment, getting you ready for the day. And it's so simple. You can actually try this with me right now. It's called belly breathing. Just get comfortable, put one hand on your belly and the other on your chest. Now breathe in slowly through your nose and feel your belly expand, pushing your hand out. Your chest should stay pretty still. Then just purse your lips and slowly exhale. Doing this just a few times can totally reset your nervous system. All right, so now that we've tuned our bodies from the inside, let's talk about tuning our environment. Because the quality of the air we breathe, well, it matters immensely. There's this practice from Japan called Shinrin-yoku, which literally translates to forest bathing. And it's not about exercise. It's about just being in nature and connecting with it through all of your senses. And the health effects are just astounding. I mean, the difference between city air and forest air is night and day. A forest is rich in oxygen and these incredible things called phytocides. You can think of them as the airborne immune system of the trees. City air, on the other hand, often has this cocktail of industrial pollutants. And just look at the measurable impact this has on the body. A study found that after a walk in the forest, people's blood oxygen saturation actually went up, their respiratory symptoms went down, and key markers of inflammation in their blood dropped significantly. Here's just one stunning statistic from that same research. Levels of an inflammatory marker in the body dropped by 18% after a walk in the forest compared to a walk in the city. That is a powerful anti-inflammatory effect just from breathing different air. So why is this so effective? Well, it's because it's a holistic therapy. You're reducing stress, you're improving your mood, you're breathing cleaner air, you're moving your body, and you're even boosting your immune system, all at the same time. So the message our lungs are sending us is really twofold. It's about how we breathe, mindfully, with intention, and it's about what we breathe, seeking out cleaner, more natural air whenever we possibly can. So we started with this romantic idea of that first morning breath. The science gave us a reality check, for sure, but it also gave us back control. Because it's not just about what's in the air, but about the intention we bring to the simple act of breathing itself. Every sunrise offers a brand new breath. So tomorrow morning, how will you choose to take yours?
We're always told morning air is the best, but what's the real message from our lungs? Yeah, this idea of pure morning air is something we all love. It just feels so refreshing. And for good reason. Fresh air boosts oxygen, helps your lungs, and can even improve your mood. Okay, but what if that city air in the morning isn't so sweet? Let's check the data. Turns out, in a lot of cities, air quality is actually worse during morning and evening rush hours. Why? Well, it's mostly traffic, plus weather conditions that trap all that gunk down low. And get this, it's not just the air. Our own bodies have an internal clock, our circadian rhythm. And that clock can actually make our lungs more sensitive right in the early hours of the morning. So the city air is bad, and our lungs are vulnerable. What are we supposed to do? Well, the message isn't really about the time of day. It's all about the quality of the air. And here's a perfect example. A study compared what happens when you walk in a forest versus a city. The results? Pretty amazing. Walking in the forest actually lowered markers for inflammation in the blood. And check this out. Blood oxygen levels were also way higher after that forest walk. Basically, people breathed better, slept better, and just felt better overall. More energy, better mood. So clean air is obviously key, but you can make it even more powerful by breathing with intention. Even a simple breathing exercise like this one can totally change your morning. It really energizes you. When you breathe mindfully, you're not just getting oxygen. You're fighting stress and boosting your focus. So the real message from your lungs, it's not about when you breathe, but where and how. So, what's it going to be? Just breathing whatever's around, or intentionally seeking out the good stuff?